Well, Congressman Tim Scott of South Carolina believes it's crazy. He says if President Obama were to try such a move, it would be an impeachable act. He outlined his position at a recent event in Charleston.
As silly as that really sounds, there is a tad bit of truth to it, which is that this president is looking for a way to usurp congressional oversight to find a way to get it done without us. My position is that is an impeachable act.
Joining us now from Washington, Congressman Tim Scott. Congressman, good to have you here.
Thank you, Lou. Good to be with you.
Obviously, we need to talk about a lot of very big issues, but first on your statement that it would be an impeachable act by President Obama were he to follow President Clinton's advice. You still feel the same way?
Yeah, nothing has changed. There's no question that when you read the Constitution, Article 1, Section 8, it is very clear that Congress, and only Congress, has the authority to borrow money on behalf of the United States. The president simply does not have that authority. So what we're trying to do is not stir up a hornet's nest, but to be clear and to be honest. The president needs to stay at the bargaining desk with Republicans and Democrats and with the House and with the Senate. That is the only way that a debt ceiling increase can be done and to be constitutionally consistent.
Well, let's turn to the hard way to do it if you're not going to violate the Constitution, and that is move on the Gang of Six, move on McConnell-Reed, move on cut, cap, and balance. Now we've got a president saying to us, Congressman Scott, that he's willing, just after last week saying he wouldn't, he's willing to take a short-term approach if it's in a long-term context.
Well, Lou, I'll tell you this, that there is no question that cut, cap, and balance have already changed the way that we're operating on this debt ceiling. The president is now talking about a short-term deal because the House solidified itself with the Republican conference and a bipartisan approach, having 234, now the gang of 234, not the group of six, but the gang of 234, voting consistent with cut, cap, and balance and listening to the American people. It puts the American people on the offense. And that is why I believe the president is now talking about a short-term deal to gather more time to look for a bigger deal.
Well, talking with John Barrasso, a co-sponsor of Cut, Cap, and Balance in the Senate, he is hesitant to say that it can pass the Senate, where it's obviously going to face some considerable opposition, particularly this president saying he's in favor of the Gang of Six proposal, which is, frankly, nothing more than an executive summary of some very big concepts, or the McConnell-Reed proposal. What is your assessment?
Well, I will tell you that when you look at the three opportunities on the table, the McConnell plan to me is nothing more than an abdication of responsibility and playing politics at a time when we need serious leadership. The McConnell-Reed plan doesn't get it done. The Gang of Six, once again, as you said, it is a proposal, not a plan, but a proposal. And there's no one who's read it because there's nothing been sent out to read. We cannot afford to pass it so that we know what's in it. That is a terrible approach. It did not work with Obamacare. It will not work with this plan either. So finally, there is one piece of legislation that's actually been passed, and that is cut, cap, and balance. It does what the president wants, which is a $2.4 trillion increase in the debt ceiling, and it does what the American people want, which is provides a balanced budget amendment that goes to the states, and we let the people decide. We are in a situation where the people of this nation are standing up and saying, listen to me, get your fiscal house in order. That's not a Republican line or a Democrat line. That is what the American people are saying, and we should listen loud, and they are clear.
And the very latest polls today showing that the American people are absolutely disgusted with the way the federal government is operating right now and dealing with this issue. Congressman Tim Scott, and by the way, that's both parties, that's both houses of Congress and the White House.
Absolutely.
Congressman Tim Scott, good of you to be here. Good to talk with you.
Thank you, Lou.
Up next.